us today. I'm so glad you're here. This is a topic that I really, really care about, and I hope that you will share my feelings on it as we move through this presentation. A few important reminders. Slides are not shared. The recording, though, will be up on our website and on our YouTube channel next Monday. And you can type. I'm just going to go back because I did not start recording. Let's start recording. Okay, the recording is going. So this is something, a topic very near and dear to my heart. And if you don't know why already, you will know by the end of this training. A few important housekeeping reminders. Our slides aren't shared, but the recording will be up on our website and YouTube channel on Monday. And we will send it to you on Monday also. We send it to the registrants so you have it for those who couldn't attend today. You may type your questions into the question box as we move along, and we will definitely answer as many as possible, as many as time permits. There are no CEs or certificates of attendance for today's webinar. If you have any tech problems, go to financialsocialwork.com and click on chat. Eric will be there to help you. I always start our trainings with our financial social work affirmation. It goes just for today. I will love myself enough to face my fears, practice self-acceptance, and embrace hope. I will silence my inner critic, speak my truth, and make peace with myself and with my past. Just for today, I will give myself permission to eliminate toxic people, beliefs, and behaviors from my life and prepare for a better tomorrow by healing my relationship with my money and with myself today. We are going to be talking about the cost of gender today and what that looks like. Financial consequences are obvious. And now we're going to look at those psychosocial consequences, like chronic financial stress, strained relationships, delayed asset building, and increased economic trauma. I'd like to start also with an interactive activities. And I thought today that setting financial boundaries would be a great topic for us to discuss. These are the messages you see here. We hear them every day. We see them on all the social media. You deserve it. Upgrade today. Buy now. But what about financial boundaries? What are you discussing with your clients regarding financial boundaries? What financial boundaries do you set? Go ahead and put your answers in the question box. Linda is standing by, right?
I am here. Type your answers in the question box.
Are we talking about financial boundaries? I hope.
Anybody see the question box? Oh, I need to do better. Live below your means.
Excellent.
Have a budget for treating yourself so you don't have to feel guilty about the treats. Know your monthly expenses so you can be planful about them. Live below your means. Budget for self-care. Discipline myself. Set how much you can and want to help family and friends. Another vote for budget. Have an emergency fund for other families instead of giving all the time, anytime. Constant financial education and communication with spouse and kids. Be aware of your finances. Don't compete with the Joneses. Set how much I can and want to help other family members. Cut back on expensives. Fund goals like bills. Have budgets to feel good about when spent. Have budgets to feel good about spending when I do. That sounds attractive. Keep groceries stocked so I just don't go out and buy food. Focus on the long-term goal. Empower those around you to be as mindful of their money as you are about yours. Every holiday or event does not mean we need to buy things or spend money. Pay yourself first. Yes to the question, is this a question box? It is. Check your subscriptions often. That's a really good one. If I can't afford to give it, I don't lend it. Budget and separate into needs, bills, emergency, and something for fun. Live under your means. Cut subscriptions. We hear that a lot.
It's called a subscription audit. I only learned this recently, and it's really a great idea. These are such great ideas. How about someone suggesting, how do we do this better with clients? I think once we establish it for ourselves, how can we help clients? Personal and financial boundaries. Thank you all for those great suggestions. At first, I thought no one was going to share, but that was wonderful. Thank you.
I will just add that somebody just said they use coupons. And I just would encourage everybody to scan your newspapers and flyers for coupons. That's it, Rita, go ahead.
No, that was a great idea. Thank you. And thank her. Or it could have been him. Okay, so we are talking about money and gender today. So, yes, I founded financial social work. Next year will be 30 years ago. And just because that is relevant to this area that I created, I'm going to share with you. Once upon a time, little girls grew up believing if you had long, beautiful hair, could kiss the right frog, and all of you can say it out loud now, we would live happily ever after. Unfortunately, as we know, for many women and girls, happily ever after became happily never after for so many reasons, many of them having to do with the word I created back in 1997. Okay, Lynn, I'm going to ask people. I'm not going to ask them because this computer can get away from me. Okay, I'm still going to try and ask them. Do any of you or many of you who have attended these trainings may know what Femenomics stands for? You want to go ahead and take a guess in the question box?
We have the gender of money.
Right.
And the gender of money. And the economics of being female.
True that.
The idea that empower women economically through education, employment, and leadership draws stronger economic growth and societal well-being. The feminization of economics, the economics of being a woman. I think they got it.
And I gave it, and thank you all, because those are obviously good definition. I gave it the definition of the gender of money. And I can tell you that a lot of people told me there is no such thing as the gender of money. However, unfortunately, there is a gender of money. And there are 7 things listed here as femonomics components. And we actually have a whole video course on this topic. And did you know the United States Constitution does not guarantee equal rights for women? Things we need to know. But obviously, women aren't the only ones with financial problems. And by around 2003, 2005, femonomics morphed into financial social work. So, financial social work, the basics. We know that no one wants to have money problems, but most people do. With financial social work, we help individuals achieve financial stability using all of these approaches and techniques for a model that's about engagement, education, motivation, support to provide empowerment to our clients. So you can see it is very comprehensive. And here we have just some of the populations in need of financial social work. If you know of any or work with a population that's not listed here, by all means put it in the question box, which for us mostly becomes the answer box. So we have a financial social work lens for all of this work. It's a lens to lasting change, mental health, behavioral, equity, trauma informed. As a matter of fact, next month, this free training will be on trauma informed financial social work. So, what do we see depending on the lens we're looking through? Internally, financial social work recognizes emotions and honors lived experience. Externally, it considers relationships and it names systems. So what do we see depending on our lens? Money is neutral. This is the traditional approach. We think that financial problems means poor choices and bad habits. However, when you use the financial social work lens and approach, we understand that money is meaningful and emotional, adaptive responses to experience and context. We promote dignity and healing because that's how change happens. We view financial challenges as human experiences because they're shaped by emotions, relationships, lived experiences, and systems, not just numbers or knowledge. As social workers, we already know how to provide the care that clients need around financial problems, issues, trauma, concerns. Financial social work tells us how to apply it to money. That's the special sauce of financial social work. Social workers have the skills to support change and we provide the application to help clients meet their money challenges. We do know that the clients that come in to see us, they have money stories. They just don't know how to tell them, how to share them. They don't know the language. They don't have the tools, the knowledge, or the skills. So primarily they try to avoid them. They try to avoid them personally. They hide from them and they try to hide them from others in their lives. Unable to cope with financial trauma and stress, they take on the blame. They fill their lives with shame and fear from choices made under pressure and systems that failed them. We shift the perspective through financial social work. And it is so comprehensive because it's at the center of the economy, mental health, climate, and other able justice, gender, racial, and economic justice, and certainly politics. It is a behavioral model because until and unless behavior changes, nothing changes. Financial behavior that I talk about so much for me is represented by how we earn, spend, save, share, and borrow. It is our behavior, and financial social work model is based upon this formula: financial engagement, education, motivation, support to provide financial empowerment to clients. So now we're going to talk about the myth of neutrality in financial models. How do we advance equity through gender responsive financial practices? We'll look at the historical roots of gender financial inequity, how policies shape gendered financial access, and still today continues to shape gendered financial access. These were very real circumstances that women faced, the lasting impact of which is women on average own 32% less wealth than men globally. So we can see that historical financial exclusion has a long, long arm. Linda, we're going to need you here. So this is a report, and I gave you the link right there on gender pay gap. It just came out last week. It says that women's earnings for every $1 men earn for full-time workers and 76 cents for part-time workers. How much do you think lower, not upper, but lower costs, wages cost a woman over the course of her lifetime? Let's put in some guesses in the question box. If women are only making that percentage of what men earn,
30 cents, 200,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 1.5 million.
all right, I'm just going to jump in and say not that much, but the previous guess was close. Any more?
Well, they're coming in at the 200,000, 100,000. I think some folks are thinking that women earn 30 cents less on the dollar those were averaging about 200, 300,000, Rita. That's the guess.
Okay. So your 500,000s weren't that off. $542,800. The amount of money women working full-time lose due to the pay gap over a 40-year career. Anybody want to put in some reasons that women leave the workforce and experience some of those losses?
And as you're doing that, it's noted that it's not just lost wages. It's lost Social Security income, lost investment opportunity. And why do women leave? Maternity, having children, caring for their family responsibilities, caregiving children and pets, childbirth, childcare. Oh, and another question on the previous comment, does that even factor in inflation? Let's see, back to why women leave. Parents, not pets.
Well, sandwich.
And here's another one, lack of flexibility at the workplace. Let's put that responsibility where it belongs. Career stagnation, factor in education, mental health, and burnout, and the cost of childcare outside the home.
Childcare costs. Childcare costs.
Ooh, I like this one. Women leave because they want to start their own business. And it is true that they do leave the good old boy network.
Well, I think
and they're less likely to be promoted. So
true. These are such sad truths. I haven't done something on this topic in a long time. And it does, it's stressful. It's upsetting to know that these situations exist. I'd be curious how many of you, I should have done this as a poll, are familiar with Equal Pay Day. Because when I talk in person, the majority of people aren't familiar with Equal Pay Day. That is the point in the year when women's earnings finally catch up to what men earned the previous year. It reminds us that wage gaps are cumulative, shape lifetime earnings, retirement security, and overall wealth. So you can see this is from 2025, but there are numerous different equal pay days. You can see mom, LGBTQ, Black women. You can see Native women's equal pay day is 11 months into the calendar year to earn what a white man earned the previous year. Next year is 30 years that I've been doing this, and not a lot has changed, folks. So, okay, Linda, last one. When do you think equal pay day is in 2026, everybody? Take your best guess.
April 1st, and someone says it's never coming. September 25th, May 26th, sometime in October, March 29th, March 26th, May, October. There isn't one. I don't think it's coming. I feel like it's going to be a big holiday. Maybe it happened already. Maybe it happened in June. March, somebody says March 25th.
Somebody's peeking. Okay.
June 1st, October.
Here it is, March 26th.
Okay. Hey, someone says there's too much going on in the world to even notice.
But that's a problem. That's
right.
True. It's true. It's absolutely true. But I'm glad that those of you who have joined us today are here and are familiar with it, because it's not improving, people. And the only way it can improve is if we advocate and stand up. This is these are serious issues. So look at this. If current trends continue, look how long it would take. I certainly wouldn't be alive. Some of you would probably be alive, but those are pretty far away. So I do hope you will all remember at least some of this and take it with you, personally and professionally. So embracing gender responsive finance to foster equity. We need gender responsive financial practices that promote fairness and inclusivity, advancing equity in financial systems and society as a whole. Fortunately, I'm guessing most of you know that we do not live in a particularly gender friendly society today. So while we like to believe, we always believe in one size fits all, but that just oversimplifies it way too much because there are so many disparities skewing risk and policy decisions. So there's a lot to consider and a lot to do as we try to rethink financial models without assuming that one size fits all. Wealth gap deep dive. We had to go beyond living paycheck to paycheck because, first of all, the paycheck doesn't tell a complete story. However, close to 70% of Americans today are living paycheck to paycheck. So we see here that income doesn't equal wealth, and we know that intuitively, but wealth equals assets minus debt plus stability and security. And you can see the difference in the two graphics of someone with a paid off mortgage and someone still carrying a mortgage. And it says two people with the same income absolutely can have radically different financial realities. And there are key drivers in this issue: wage and promotion gaps, caregiving penalties, asset access, debt exposure, risk transfer to individuals. Each of us on this training, each of us in our communities, we're all going to be living different parts of this, but we're probably experiencing some parts. And it's really what this is all about is the fact that we need to stop considering that these were poor choices for our clients because likely it's about the unequal financial systems that exist for our clients. So what we're talking about is how women are more likely to take on unpaid labor. I think you were talking, Linda, about the sandwich generation, certainly childcare, rental, aging care, and women delay or sacrifice retirement. There's lots of other things that women do. They will put men through college and not be compensated for that in a divorce. Financial risk tolerance is often contextual, not personal. Money is a psychosocial experience. We do make those decisions based on our feelings of fear, safety, shame, responsibility for others. You can see how that's affected by lived condition. There are a lot of messages in the universe, on the internet, on social media. We have to learn to help ourselves and our clients make the best decisions possible. It's not easy because socialization shapes financial behavior and stress responses. But there is a cost of ignoring emotion. When systems ignore feelings, people get blamed. They're labeled as irresponsible, incompetent, disinterested. But with the financial social work lens, we understand emotional responses are data, not deficits. So we need to recognize unequal starting points, account for caregiving and labor, center safety before strategy, and design supports that reflect real lives to be more gender responsive. We want to shift from why didn't you, from being judgmental, to what makes this hard. Not why didn't you save, but what pressures compete for your resources. It's kinder, it's gentler, it's less judgmental, it's less threatening. How about why didn't you invest? Replace that with what risks would that create for you? You need to leave by challenging neutral assumptions, naming structural inequities out loud, advocating for policy and practice change, and teaching clients and systems differently. We want to be asset focused, not just budget. Budgets aren't a really important tool, but remember that if clients don't have a context in which to work that budget, to understand how valuable of a tool it is, they're not going to feel the need to use it or engage with it. So we need to acknowledge how systems shape behavior. You need to stop blaming individuals, start building equity, leading with awareness, practicing with intention, and advocating with courage. I just wanted, these don't exactly fit in with the theme, but I did want to share with you that of this over 7 million single mothers in the US, most are in their 30s or 40s and lack a college degree. So right away, they are facing tremendous obstacles. I also wanted you to be familiar with the pink tax. When you go shopping, check it out. Unfortunately, it's true. The same items in the men's department will cost you less than in the women's department. And finally, are you familiar with the motherhood penalty, which actually is woven into everything we've already discussed together today? So women must cope with less access to career resources, role models, and mentoring. We must advocate or be judged and often treated differently than men who advocate for themselves. You've probably heard the stories that when women speak up for themselves or ask for a raise, they are judged. They are not judged well and not judged in the same way as men are judged. And we have occupational segregation, which is the uneven distribution of workers across and within occupation. And women tend to work in fields that pay less: education, childcare, social work, nursing. We've all seen what's happening with the change, the desired change for social work not to be a profession. And I'm sure we pretty much share the same feelings about that. So here we have a look at the fact money is never neutral and systems shape outcomes. Wage and pay gap, occupational segregation, promotion and leadership. We've looked into each of these briefly, talking about how they impact women's lives specifically. The majority of the elderly living below the poverty line are women. So, a few more things to know about money. It is not an elective in this thing called life. It would be great if you felt ready or could get your clients ready to set their first small financial goal. Think about what your credit score tells the world about you. The fact that student loan payment is not optional. And we need to allow our values, connect your values to your spending, and help clients do the same. And definitely practice forgiveness, financial forgiveness for mistakes you made or clients made because they didn't know better. We must take control of our money to gain control of our lives. Financial trauma is real and it needs addressed, and we'll be doing that in next month's free webinar. Again, let go of the shame and the blame. They're detrimental. They hold you back. We want clients to free themselves, to connect them to their money while they're so busy spending their time avoiding and disconnecting from it. And here we have set personal and financial boundaries. We did some good work with that earlier. Know what's in it for me, for yourself personally, and help clients understand how much better their lives will be without all that pressure and stress and debt. This isn't an overnight process. It's an overtime process, but it can happen. How clients accept that they deserve better. They do. In a world where when we are told to take care of ourselves by spending money, that really is not financial self-care. Only you can heal you. We know that as a basis of social work. We have to help clients understand that this is work that they can do. We have to give them the foundation of hope and the skills and the tools to do it. And we all have a responsibility to raise financially literate children. We need to stop raising generation after generation of financially illiterate people. That's not doing anyone any good. And everyone does need a personal spending and savings plan, often called a budget. Everyone really needs an estate plan. Everyone on this call certainly needs an estate plan. And anyone with children needs the will and some of the other tools in it in case something happens to them. We want to identify spending triggers so we can avoid them. Same with financial stressors. And very importantly, we have to start hiding from our debts. We have to take it on, being honest, and moving in a better direction by giving ourselves permission. Give yourself permission to create greater financial health. We have some additional resources. We have our financials, and stay tuned. We have a discount that I forgot to mention earlier on. We have our certification program. We have thousands of certified financial social workers, educators, and coaches across the country and around the world. The workbooks are beautiful, they're reflective, interactive, and teaching how to use this work to change your own life and your clients' lives. We now offer financial social work video courses on femonomics, on social work for community nonprofits. And we have a couples and money course. Lots of ways to learn from financial social work. We have a wellness magazine subscription, an education support group kit, and graphic money guides pack. Our true secret sauce is the financial social work collaborative. It's a group of 4 women from across the country who graduated several years ago. And each month they schedule sessions along with a newsletter and interactive component and do education, networking, resources, and support. They are fabulous, and it's a wonderful way to meet other financial social workers and learn from each other. Our latest financial social work ebook, A Guide to Social Work Guide for Circumventing Political and Economic Uncertainty. You can see how to find that on our website. And we now have our textbook. It was published by Cognella in 2025, and hopefully students in BSW and MSW programs will be learning financial social work in school. You can see here that next month's free webinar is on trauma-informed financial social work and integrative practice approach. And in May, we have rebuilding client financial self-trust, a nervous system approach to money anxiety. So we have lots of good things coming up for you. And until Monday at midnight, we are offering you a 15% discount using this discount code on all of our products that I just told you about. So a few closing thoughts. Until you take control of your money, you'll never be or feel in control of your life. And these are a few ways that financial stress impacts us. You know, no one chooses to have money problems, but most people do. And we are here to do something about it. And you see, become an agent of financial change. That's what we are. That's what we consider ourselves as financial social workers. No one needs to know everything about money, but everyone needs to know certain things about money. What you need to know may be different than what I need to know. What clients need to know may be different than what we need to know. But there are some things we do need to know. And I mentioned earlier how important it is to start raising financially literate children. We just have, well, you want to raise them into financially literate adults. And for certain, we want to keep in mind that money and mental health connection because it's so, so real. Here is the textbook. And we are inviting greater financial wealth and health. I close with this because when we talk about money, it can be stressful. And when money, stress, and trauma live in the nervous system, breathing and self-soothing touch help calm the body, allowing for clearer thinking and enhancing feelings of safety and connection. That's from the tinybuddha.com. Now we have time for Q&A. And do we have questions?
Yes. Our first question comes from someone who's new to financial social work. And they're asking, I thought I heard you mention a video on couples and money. I'm new and wondering if you can tell me more about that. And is this topic covered in the certification?
Hopefully everything is covered in the certification. I'm trying to think how far back the video programs are. You could see, no, here, couples and money video course. What were the questions about it?
Just tell me about it.
Well, there are videos and workbooks and mini workbooks, and you can share all of those with your clients. And it's all the different steps for engaging, educating, motivating. And if you go to the website, there's a very in-depth description under the video programs.
Compliments. Some of the folks have already seen the textbook. And so we've gotten feedback that it's an excellent textbook, along with a logistics question. Are there continuing education credits for recertification?
Yes. It includes the CEUs for recertification.
Okay.
Which is every 3 years.
Beautiful. You will get, if I'm right about this, you'll get a copy of the video in your inbox on Monday, but no, the slides are not available. They are proprietary. And I am here to tell you that there are no CEUs for today's webinar. Sometimes there are. And you should always come to all of them. And even though this one does not have one. So can you speak about the benefits and how it relates to financial social work? We talk a lot about it with clients when they're, I'm sorry, I don't know what this is, TANF is coming to an end, or they find employment and know their SNAP benefits will be reduced. But how does we talk a lot about,
Well,
I'm not exactly sure that question, if you'd like to clarify.
I
Thank
understand.
you. Thank you. Temporary assistance for needy
I
families.
know.
Okay.
This is hard. This is really hard. How I do not have any great secrets. I wish I did. But how do we prepare clients who rely on these benefits? I wish I had a secret way to do that, or a better way, or a positive way. And I had talked about that in that ebook I mentioned to you, that this is hard because clients don't understand why services are disappearing. They certainly don't understand why agencies are closing, or agencies can no longer take them on. We're not given any easy, honest ways. And the only thing I think that we can do is be as honest as we possibly can. That these are difficult times, that the government is choosing to put that money in different places. Anybody out there have any better ideas? Because I'm struggling with this.
Someone has suggested that the Atlanta Fed has developed the benefit cliff tool calculator to help inform when and where public benefits change related to increased income. And if you've got a pencil, I can tell you what the web address is. All right, everybody get ready. It's www.atlantafed.org/research and data/cliff-tool. I know that's a lot, but thank you for Christine for putting that in.
I think that must be addressing the benefit cliffs, because you said if you get a promotion. But here, I believe that is that person's, if the person who asked a question is still there, could you clarify? But I think you're talking about the possibility that people are just going to lose those benefits.
Sure, I will repeat the web address, www.atlantafed.org/research. There's a dash and another dash data/cliff-tool. And someone also recommends LEAP, L-E-A-P, LEAP Fund for anyone working with benefit cliff families. And that's another vote for the LEAP Fund.
Any other questions, Lynn?
I think we've already answered the questions that come in. Someone else has, again, get your pencil ready. There's a website, www.ssa.gov/work/dot.html. And this is apparently for individuals who are working and who are on benefits. Lots of thank yous for today's. Will you receive a copy of the PowerPoint? No, those are proprietary, but we're grateful that you attended and we hope that you learned a lot.
And you'll get the video in your inbox on Monday.
Right. And someone else's, lots of thank yous, lots of good feedback. And also many communities have what's called Circles program that work with families and mentor them through the process of working and losing benefits. You know what? I'm sure that that is something the collaborative has a lot of information on. I just know those women do. That's it.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Linda, Eric. Thanks for coming. I hope you all feel you learned a lot, and we'll see you back here next month to learn about financial trauma. Take care. Bye now.